Hey everyone, I hope everyone is doing good. It has been a while since we did an episode of Kids Corner. Just in case, if this is your very first time for some reason, Kids Corner is where one of you, as the kids, if you have a question about the Bible, if you have a question about the faith, sometimes your parents may bring me the question, and then I'll take a question. I put in this little piggy. I take the question out of this little piggy like this. Give me a second, guys. See this little piece of paper? This is a piece of paper with all your questions. And then I answer questions in this video. Okay? So most likely I'll probably have 2 episodes today. Today's episode 6. I'll do one more episode so we can answer all of your questions. Okay, so we're gonna answer. There's 3 questions in total, but we're going to answer 2 of them in this episode. So let's see how far we get. The first question is from Eric. Eric, thank you so much for your question. He asked a question, and it is a very, very good question. The question is, why did God make the world? Okay, you ever see a picture of the earth? The sphere, the circle, why did God make it? Eric, very good question. The simple answer is God made it for His glory. What do I mean for His glory? Glory means showing the beauty, the greatness, the perfection of who God is. God made the world to point back to God. It's to show how amazing it's to show the beauty of who God is. Okay? You ever go to a zoo and think of the craziest animal you've ever seen? One of the craziest animals that I have seen at a zoo, there's something called a platypus. I want you to imagine, you might know what a platypus is. For those who are also watching, what is a platypus? Imagine a duck with a beak, right? Like Donald Duck that has a beak. It's the head of a duck and it's attached to a beaver. That's what a platypus looks like. Who could imagine? Who made a platypus? That sounds kind of weird. A duck's head put on a beaver's body. That's what a platypus actually looks like, and it swims in the water too. So every living thing, every single animal, everything you can imagine, the giraffe, a lizard, a rhino, everything that has ever been created, including the entire world, is to show you, oh my goodness, look how crazy that thing looks. Who made that? God made that. That includes us, people. So if you remember, I believe it's in Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. It talks about even people are made in the image of God. Why are people not made in the image of another animal like a duck? Why is it in His image? Because even when you look at a person's face, right now you're looking at my face, right? It's to show you, wow, who made people? Who was the one? Why do we look like the way we do? We have thousands of little hairs. You have different personalities. One person likes hockey, one person likes toys, one person likes making music, playing the piano, the other person doesn't like piano. Who made such a person that's so complex? It's actually quite crazy. All of this, including the fact that we're made in the image of God, is to show you, it's to point you back to the Creator, God. Let me show you an example to show you what I mean. There's a book I read recently, okay? You see this book here? It's called Inkheart. It's about a group of kids who go on this adventure. And it's also, it talks a lot about their fantasy elements, okay? Things that are out of this world, okay? I remember reading this. This is a book that I enjoyed personally. And you see this book here? At the top of the book, there is an author. When you read a book, why is the author's name on it? Why? It's because the reason why it's good to know the author's name is when you read a book, it could be any book, when you're like, ooh, this is a really, really good book, it tells you who made the book so you can learn more about the person who made it. Just like when you look at creation, now God didn't stamp his name on everything and he said author or made by, right? But just by looking at something, it's telling you something about the one who made it, which is God. Okay? So to answer your question, why did God make the world? It's to point people back to him. It's to show you the beauty, the greatness, the glory of God. This is why God made the world. Okay? And now, you know what? I'm going to take some time also to answer. There are 2 more questions, but I'm going to add in 1 more question for episode 6. When did God create the heaven? This question is sent by Kristen. Very good question, Kristen. So, if you ever read in Genesis, and it talks about how there were 7 days, God made creation in 6 days. But when? Which day was it? It just so happens on the very, very first day, God actually created the heavens and the earth. He made more than that, though. Okay? More than the heavens and the earth. But it said in the beginning, right in the beginning of Genesis, in the beginning, he made the heavens and the earth on day 1. He made the heavens and even the earth. There was nothing inside the earth yet. It says it's formless, it's empty, right? There's nothing inside. But to answer your question again, on the first day, he made the heavens, the earth, he made light. And just like right now, believe it or not, as I'm making this video, there's a light shining in my face slightly. For there to be light, he had to separate the light from the darkness. There was morning and there was evening. He made everything in 6 days. And of course, on the 7th day, he rested, which is what we call Sabbath. Okay? So again, when did God create the heavens? On day 1 out of the 7 days of creation, on the very, very first day. Okay? So this brings us to the end of the first episode of Kids Corner. But don't worry, I'm going to shoot 1 more episode, which is episode 7, because we have 1 more question from Kristen. Okay? So stay tuned for that. In the meanwhile, thank you for tuning in to episode 6 of Kids Corner. Bye, everyone.